Here now is Lisa Bell and Candice Campos with Florida Foodie. Sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Hello and welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Candice Campos and we are back on location in beautiful downtown Montverde.
It is so fun being here. Today we are joined by a Florida native who lives and works in Montverde and is serving up delicious homemade candies and ice cream every day except Sunday.
Except Sunday. So joined right now is Tina, not Taylor. Taylor is working right now.
Right.
Co-owner there. Tina and Taylor Aldrich, the owners of Orange Blossom Candies and Creamery. Tina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for coming out to Little Montverde.
This is
great.
fantastic.
Yes.
What a beautiful little shop you have.
Thank you.
You opened up right after the start of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
June of 2020. And at the time, your daughter was here with you, helping you open up. So why this concept in Montverde? How did this come about?
Well, being a Florida native and having lots of friends, my first orange, memory is riding horses through orange groves when the blossoms were in, and it's just you couldn't keep us out of the orange groves, And so being a Florida native, I wanted it to have, and Montverde being so steeped also in the orange history. Everybody thinks like Winter Garden. I'm like, well, Montverde was a big deal too, you know? And I knew I wanted to do, sunshiny colors and that kind of thing. And I just got to thinking, I'm like, orange blossom. It's one of my favorite flowers in the world. And we do candies, obviously. We do baked goods too, but that was a little long for a name. And we do Hershey's ice cream, so awesome. Candies and cream came about.
So you grew up in Orlando, graduated from Evans High School,
I did.
Lived in Winter Garden, then moved to Montverde. Why did you decide to move out to Montverde initially?
Well, this is my second time living in Montverde, actually.
It just keeps pulling you back.
We originally moved in the late 80s and lived here 16 years. This was originally the post office.
Oh, okay.
Was it really?
This was our post office.
Nice.
And we lived on a dirt road, and the post office didn't deliver on the dirt road, so my daughter and I would walk down here from the house and pick up our mail.
And how long ago was that? That sounds like it was back in the 60s.
Like 1993 or something like that. I know, times change quick. So she grew up here. I owned my florist in downtown Winter Garden. She danced, and then 3 hours turned into 30 hours.
And I'm
thinking just driving back and forth.
Maybe we should, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Maybe we should move closer. So we moved into Winter Garden for a while, and when our daughter went to college, we went ahead and moved to our cabin in North Carolina. And then when we moved back, I'm like, I want to move back to a place where the footprint will not change. And this little burb is not going to change. It's going to change all around us and has. I mean, Hancock was not even a road when we moved up to North Carolina, So that's what made us decide to come back here to Montverde.
And have you been a lifelong candies, ice cream fan? How did this concept come about?
I was a
flowers to candy.
Florist for 35 years. Went to North Carolina and had the opportunity to work at an ice cream and fudge store in a little town called Black Mountain.
Okay. Just came back from Black Mountain.
It's great. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. It's just like you don't want to leave. You're like, oh, I know. So anyway, but I had the opportunity to work there, and my whole entire time, I'm like, why am I here? You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't know anything about ice cream and candies and stuff like that, and it was just a life experience and something fun to do, and helping out the owner, and but when we moved back here, and there's several restaurants that all opened within 6 weeks of each other during the pandemic.
Wow.
And we all didn't set out to say, hey, let's open our shop during a pandemic, but we were all in forward motion, and I knew what they were doing. They were restaurants, and I'm like, the only thing we don't have is sweets. We don't have sweets.
Right.
So let's let's do ice cream and candy. You know, that'll be fun.
And you were saying like it was either in the pandemic, either you just stopped and lost the money, or you just had to keep going and fingers crossed.
Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, when anybody who's ever started a business knows that you don't start the business 2 weeks before you open. It's like months before.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was our post office, so I won't begin to explain what just the interior had to be done. I mean, there's 37 fluorescent lights on the ceiling alone that had to come down, you know. So once you're already doing that, and then the pandemic hits, you're like, huh. You know what I should do?
Tell me something.
I'm like, you know what? Worst that happens is that window is going to become a new window where I can serve out the window, and all of this, it won't last forever, you know. And at some point we will open, but we never did have to do that. We were able to put our lines and everybody wear masks, and we got through it. And
you're blooming.
Yes. I mean, and it was crazy because
blossoming.
Blossoming. Blossoming.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because it actually gave this community, because no one could really go anywhere, and it gave the community a sense of community. Let people come. I had half the parking lot taken up with tables and chairs so people could sit outside.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, we only had a couple in here. We encouraged everybody to eat outside. There's a park right across the street, so they could go over to the park. And this was just like the place to meet. Kids were able to come up here. Parents were able to bring their kids
and play.
they go outside.
Some ice cream.
There was a little bit of normalcy during that.
It was, and being like during the pandemic, being a community was very hard. So to have this little community be a community was.
That's wonderful.
And I feel like this is also almost like a little like beam of light. You walk in and you're smacked with.
First of all,
Florida.
it smells amazing.
Well, that's
Oh, we just made caramel, which
why.
I think you might.
God.
I think at some point in the footage there might be a few little snippets.
Roll that beautiful.
Our awesome baker Sonia is around here somewhere, and that's where the cinnamon rolls come from. The snappers are our homemade caramel.
Snappers. So I'm familiar with turtles.
So a turtle
bites you back.
A turtle is if you didn't dollop that chocolate and dipped it in chocolate. A turtle.
Okay.
Snappers when you're a little bit lazier.
Okay.
And you pour hot caramel on top of pecans, and then you dollop some chocolate.
So if you're more of a caramel fan, then you're all in on the snapper. Who developed these recipes? I mean, these seem like
that's Sonia's. The cinnamon roll is Sonia's.
Okay.
You know, these are pretty easy. You know, the snappers and turtles have been around just forever and ever.
You also not just have sweets, you also have some savory treats. And I know you really cater a lot to students who come in here and get lunch or after school snacks. What are some of the savory items
so
that
we
you
do,
serve?
There's a quiche available. Everyone's, they see pastelito and what's a pastelito? Well, empanada seemed too big. And it's basically just a little meat pie, like a turnover, like a little hand turnover. We got chips, we've got drinks, we've got everything.
Because you're still walking distance pretty much from the
and we didn't set out to be any kind of restaurant by any means, but especially with Black Bear not being in Claremont now, there was definitely a niche that needed to be filled because poor Mr. Willie's and Cal's just can't accommodate everybody. And then of course coming up with something they don't have is always, we're all friends. So, no barbecue or pizza or anything over here, so, but
And how is it? So you said that you started the business with your daughter. She's also very busy as well.
Yes.
So I mean, how's that? I mean, what was that conversation like talking to Taylor?
Well,
we're like, I want to do this.
So Taylor's an entertainer for Disney, and of course, 2020 pandemic kind of, and I was already on the forward roll to do this, and I'm like, wow, would you come in and do this with me? This would just be nice. Just to have your presence here would be nice. And then of course when when it lasted so much longer, I have always had a thing, even when we were living in North Carolina for the few years we were living in North Carolina, and my mother would call like, oh, the hurricane's coming. I'm like, is Disney closed? She's like, no. I'm like, you're good. So my litmus test.
That's a true Floridian.
Honestly, true Floridian is like, if Disney's not closed, we're fine. So with the pandemic, I'm like, Disney closed. And I'm like, well, this will be a few days. And then it didn't open. And I'm like, wow. That's kind of how I knew this was like a big deal.
It's that gauge.
It's Disney's always been, I mean, you know, I was at Disney the first week it opened. So, you know, we've, especially Taylor, just been raised on Disney, you know. So, but yeah. And
did you think you were crazy?
You know, I didn't think I was crazy until everything shut down. And then I'm like, this might not be what I should do, you know. I just believe in living one day at a time and having faith in everything.
That's all you can do.
I know. I mean, you know. So that's what I did. Yeah,
love it.
Like and also talking to my friends with restaurants here or going to open restaurants here. I'm like, what's up? And they're like, we are in so deep. There's no. I mean.
Right.
I
remember seeing those stories with a lot
of
the chefs and owners.
It's just like, and I mean, this is my third business, and I am just an entrepreneur, and obviously my personality is kind of very outgoing, and so I don't like to give up. You know, and I'm just like, I don't want to give up. What's the worst gonna happen?
Right.
Well, this is such a beautiful spot that you have.
You've done amazing.
So tell us a little bit more about what we can find on the menu. We see the cinnamon rolls, which look amazing.
Yeah, we do. Homemade cookies and brownies, and our brownie sundae is made out of Sonia's famous chocolate cobbler, which is like a really, really soft, almost lava cake brownie. So it molds in the bottom of the sundae dish.
Keep
so
talking.
You can put ice cream on top. I know. She developed it specifically for us because when we went to do the brownie sundae, the brownie was too hard.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Never thought
Like,
about that.
A brownie was too hard, and you couldn't, you know. And she's like, I got this, you know. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we do again with our homemade caramel. We do candies also. We've got chocolate melting. There's There's a whole art to that, you know. We have a couple little selections back here. My favorite is the little graffiti zoo.
The zoos. You were telling me about that.
Yes, they're bark, and it's made in Melbourne, Florida, because I can't do everything. And she donates proceeds back to the zoos.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah. So that's one of my new favorites, and so it's just sweets, of course. All kinds of fun little retro sweets over there for the kids, and then baked items, and you know, mostly the ice cream. 24 flavors of Hershey.
24 flavors of Hershey. Do you rotate those flavors, or are they all?
We have 2 that we rotate every month, and Hershey's has like 65. So you are always going to have a disgruntled somebody.
There's looking for the most random flavor.
They're like, why can't you take all this out of here and get another Hershey's freezer? I'm like, there's 24 flavors.
Pick one.
I mean, sometimes we run out. Our deliveries on Friday, and like on Thursday, we might be out of something. Like, I'm like, honestly.
So, question. I've always wanted to ask this at whenever I go to a creamery. What's the appropriate sample number? What's too much? I feel sometimes
too much is giving a person a sample every time they ask for it. 3. We have a 3. We have a 3.
Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
3 limit.
That's what I felt like. I felt like a 3 was
a good. We have a 3 limit. Yeah, I'm just like, I mean, my very favorite is someone comes in and wants to sample vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry. I'm like, really? It's vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry. We have a Graham Central Station that nobody like. I mean, even if you're not a graham cracker fan, that is the bomb. It's our
cool.
Other than cookies and cream, and that's because of the
Graham
students.
Central Station.
Graham Central Station.
I have my youngest son. His name is Graham. I was thinking I got to bring him here and try that.
Yeah, Graham Central Station.
I'm ready to try one of these.
Let's go for it. All
right. These look hot and gooey, which is amazing.
Well, we've been sitting here talking for a while, so hopefully, but I can promise you they're awesome. Make sure you have your napkin. You're going to definitely need that napkin.
And you were also saying too.
Oh, look at you!
She's going to peel apart.
I don't think that's the proper way to eat a cinnamon roll.
The middle is the best. So.
I always unravel. You eat the whole thing. You're a monster.
Well, I mean, I don't unravel them. I just bite into it.
All right, have fun.
Oh my god.
Okay, now I'll be polite and just peel it.
No, I'll eat it. What's your favorite thing to eat here?
Her cinnamon rolls, actually fresh out of the oven, are kind of my favorite. Yeah, those are my favorite. the chocolate cobbler I was mentioning is strictly for kind of the brownie sundae. That's
Is there a little orange in it or something?
I do not know.
Oh my God.
I do not know the secret to her success. It would be nice if there is, because orange blossom. So yeah. But
I have to admit, that's the first time I ever eaten the cinnamon roll without
It's really
unraveling
good.
it. I didn't know.
There's a lot of cinnamon in it, which I prefer.
yeah,
Agreed.
It's not just tasting like bread, it's tasting like a cinnamon roll.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And you're so good
I'm
with
gonna try a snapper now.
keeping the theme.
Looks like we have dark chocolate and
Okay.
then
Or milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm a dark chocolate type of
Well,
person.
sometimes the caramel gets down onto that little piece of wax. So
that
just
tastes good.
there
Is there
you
a
go.
proper way to eat this one,
No.
Lisa?
No, just go for that one.
Go for
It's just making sure you get it off the wax there. Yeah, the caramel
But
just.
you know what? If you
There you go.
there it is.
Yeah.
So good.
Those are probably one of my favorites. Our homemade caramel, we do caramel chews, and caramel is probably bar none my favorite candy.
You mentioned
And,
this is your third business.
my third business.
You've owned a florist shop.
I owned a small gift shop in Black Mountain, North Carolina
Okay.
at the time. Yeah.
So what is it? What is it about these little shops that you love so much?
I don't know. I mean, it's like maybe it's because I just can't work for other people.
I mean, that's one way to
Which
do
is
it.
not true because I love the people I worked for
Yeah.
at the ice cream and fudge store. And
What has surprised you the most opening up and running this business after your years of experience in the other
I would say
two shops?
I would say the sense of community.
Yeah.
I mean, I have kids, so we're very close to the academy,
Right.
And the upper school gets out at noon, and they're allowed to come down.
They're
and-
about to burst in here any
yeah,
moment
at
now.
any moment.
see
I'm not
walking
sure.
around.
The lower school gets out at 3, and it's almost. I was so surprised to become like I'm this like rock star. It is
Yeah.
the most hysterical
You're
thing.
the hangout spot for them.
Well, during the summer, I actually will take our cart. We have a cart, and I will go up and pass out ice cream on Fridays up at the school.
Well, no wonder you're the cool mom.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
So the kids coming in here going, Miss Tina, Miss Tina. Everybody giving me hugs.
Aw.
Our Facebook page, our person Meredith, who's been with me for I don't know, maybe 8 months after we opened. We've got a couple other employees, Meredith and Maverick, who are awesome. Meredith just graduated UCF. Yay! Go Meredith!
Go Knights.
Yeah.
And I did a little orange blossom post, and the outpouring from the community, like 80 people just wishing Meredith congratulations
That's
and
awesome.
happy graduation. I just don't know where you know what I
And
mean?
that's
Where
what
do
we
you
have
get
here
that?
time and time again, the sense of community, the sense everyone's like family.
Very
Yeah,
much
yeah.
Your
so here.
customers become like family members.
Well, during the pandemic, we all wore masks. I don't wear glasses; I wear contacts, and we all wear caps. When I start serving, I'll put my cap on. But at some point, Meredith even looks like my daughter. And people to this day will come in and go, "Oh, I talked to your daughter last week when I went in." And I'm
You're
like,
like, no, you didn't.
"Shop daughter, but that's okay."
Close enough.
At least I know who you're talking about, you
Yeah.
know, because Taylor's not been in here since she went back performing, you know. But yeah, there was a point where at one point we took a picture of all three of us. Girls took their glasses off and we were waving. It's like, who's who? Nobody even knew. No one could guess who was who, you know. So
Well, where can people find you on social media?
right over here, we've got follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Orange Blossom Candies and Cream.
Awesome.
Yes.
And come here Monday through Saturday for a little
Monday
sneak
through
peek.
Saturday, 12
Yeah.
to 7.
She's already
Yeah.
bringing people in.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Welcome.
yeah.
Come on in.
Out. Yeah.
Hi guys, how are you? Good to see you. I hope you guys had a great weekend.
Just nothing to see here. Just shoot.
I mean, the line of people, is it like that every day?
It's like right on the dot.
It's some. It might be 10, it might be 30. It's
Wow.
just
That's
regular.
wonderful.
Yeah. So,
Well, thank you so much, Tina. We'll let
Yes,
you
this
get
is
to work
fantastic.
because you now have a line of customers. School just got out.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Another gem in
Yes,
Montverde.
very much so.
Yeah, we're so excited
thank you
to
for
be here.
finding us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
us.
all you guys coming
Yeah.
over here. It was great.
This was really sweet.
Yeah.
and no pun intended. Or maybe a pun.
Thank you, Tina.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Florida Foodie. We'd also like to thank our guest, Tina Aldrich. You can find her business online at orangeblosomcandiesandcream.com. You can also find it on Facebook and Instagram. Be sure to follow Lisa Bell online. Search Lisa Bell News on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find Candace Campos on social media. On Facebook, search Candace Campos News 6, and on Instagram, search Candace Campos, WKMG. Also, a big thank you to our entire production team. I'm the show's producer, Thomas Bates. Please take the time to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you stream podcasts. And you can find videos of all of our podcasts on clickorlando.com, and on YouTube, just search for Florida Foodie.